Well, I guess it started a long time ago. I'd been playing with lots of different compounds. Me and sodium had a pretty steady gig going with table salt, but nothing was really clicking, you know. So I was bumming around one night at Club DuPont, just hanging out, drinking, and I met this dude. His name was Thomas Midgley. He said he knew these other kids that were looking for a new band. They happened to be in the club that night, so he introduced us. That was how I met Carbon and Fluoride, the other two components of the band. We knew right there we had something magic. I mean, separate we were nothing, but together in the right setting, and boom, what a band. We came up with the name pretty much on the spot, the CFCs. I know, not very imaginative, but we were pressed for a name, and it does have a certain ring to it. Well, anyway, we didn't get a lot of attention at first. We were pretty harmless, non-flammable, non-toxic, and little did the world know we were about to take over. Things were slow at first. I remember our first gig, some small experiment in the laboratory. We didn't know what we were doing, but it paid the rent. Everybody in the room knew we'd be big because we were boiling, man. I mean, even at room temperature. Our first real gig was at Refrigerators. Man, what a cool club. Anyway, we played there a lot and eventually got an exclusive gig. Things were starting to take off. From there, we branched out into some other places, some real good gigs. We played with lots of different guys. The Plastics at Club Foam, quite a few gigs at the old Aerosol Can. Everything we did was a huge success and we got really popular. That's when we started to notice. Everyone else we played with had steady gigs, but we couldn't stick with anything. After the shows, we would drift around, sort of feeling used up. Sort of discarded. We'd always been a pretty exclusive group, and it started to show. No one would bond with us, so we kept on drifting. We started hanging out at the Troposphere, pretty big club by anyone's standards. We were still a band, but we were without direction. This was a real slow period in the band's history, nothing much going on. Eventually, we found a new club to hang out at, Club Stratosphere, and that was our downfall. You could do almost anything there, and that's when we started getting heavy into the ultraviolet scene. All the parties, the girls, up all night, then paying for it the next day. Ultraviolet is what we were running on, and eventually it was UV that broke up the band. All the extra energy was just too much, and we had to go our separate ways. Last I heard, Carbon was hanging out in some tree or something, and Fluoride was taking up competitive swimming. I don't know. Because the band broke up, I was really lonely. There had always been a lot of ozone girls around, but I never paid much attention to them. Now they were all over me. I started going out with as many ozones as I could, man. Every girl, a different one every night. Didn't matter to me that they were married. I just wanted to react. Must have broken up 1,000 relationships. It got really out of control though. I mean, really, I was seeing so many of those girls, I didn't have time for anything else. Eventually, it thinned out. I'd seen so many women, there were fewer and fewer available. And that's kind of where I'm at today. Just sort of hanging out in Club Stratosphere. I guess I need help, but I don't know what to do. Maybe eventually I'll find the right girl, a good hydrogen girl, and settle down. Till then, watch out, ozone. Here I come.